It was about 10 years ago that we came into this shop with this friend of mine who was 80 at the time and made a video that an 80-year-old blacksmith makes a Damascus Bowie knife in 3 hours, and he did it. I'm your witness.
From a cold forge.
From a cold forge and a cold piece of cable. Damascus knife, okay? It was crazy then and it's crazy now, and now he's 90. And here's an example of the knives that he's making now, after maybe 40 years making knives and 20 years making real knives.
Yeah.
Quality, nicely hardened. You know, making a knife-shaped object is one thing. Making a knife where the blade, where the metallurgy in the blade makes it a working knife, now that's something else.
That you can cut nails with.
That you can cut nails with by putting the nail on the anvil, putting the knife on the nail, hitting it with a hammer, and not marring the blade. I've seen him do it. I've seen this old man do a lot of things. Some of them scared the daylights out of me, but it's always been a pleasure. It's always been something I needed to learn. And so today, we're going to do a tour through this shop because a lot of you have not seen it, and then we're going to talk about the actual process that Cy Swan uses to make knives like this. We're going to give you a shop tour here in his blacksmith shop, starting with a coal forge. Cy and I have conversations about the relative merits of coal, which he's turning by hand. Turn that crank, Cy. Pushes the air into the coal, makes it hotter, and propane, which is a gas which burns at, around 2,400 degrees and is super convenient. We're going to show you a lot of the tools that he uses, and then we'll talk about them in detail when he's actually making a knife. When you were in here before, 10 years ago if you were, this anvil was right here, and this is a...
Trenton.
How much weight?
300.
300-pound Trenton anvil. It's his go-to workhorse. That for about the last 6 years, you had, what was that big anvil?
It was a mouse hole, Armitage mouse hole. One of the few great big ones they made. They made 5 and sent them to Austria. And it had been used hard.
600 pounds?
583.
Yeah, big. And they had hammered, there was a swale hammered down in the sweet spot.
Yep, they'd used it hard.
It was 6 inches or 6.5 inches wide?
7.
7 inches wide. Interestingly, he decided to unload that big, beautiful mouse hole and go back to his Trenton because this suits your knife making better, doesn't it?
It does, and it's flat.
It's flat. No swale, it's flat, the width is good. Trenton.
And it rebounds like crazy.
Watch this. Rebound is a strong characteristic of a good anvil, and this has got good rebound. So there's a couple things here that bear mentioning. That fan that you'll see him turning back there, nice smooth blower. What is that, Champion?
Yeah.
Champion blower, super smooth. And he upgraded this 2 years ago, Big Blue.
I think it was a little more than that, but that's what it says, about 2.5.
Yeah, that was not in the shop when we had you in here the first time 10 years ago, and he's going to have a lot to say when you see him forge a knife like this here in just a few minutes. But before we walk out of here, a post vise is quintessential in blacksmith shops. But this one's getting closer to the ground, Cy. How much material has built up under your feet here, would you guess?
Well, when we moved the anvil, there were 3 inches that we had buried that stump.
And that was just in 6 years.
No, a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. This thing was probably 6 inches higher in the air when you put it in here.
Not probably. Incidentally, that was my dad's.
Yeah, cool. So a post vise is different than a machinist vise in a lot of ways. It is made to be beat on, unlike a machinist vise, and it opens and closes much faster than a machinist vise because the threads are so coarse. Acme threads?
Yes.
Acme threads. Because when you're blacksmithing, you're fighting time. And the quicker you can get that vise shut to hold your work, the more heat is left over in the piece to get the work done. Those are a couple of the differences between a post vise and a machinist vise.
And actually, this post goes clear down into the ground.
This right here.
And is fastened to the supporting post underground. I didn't want to cut it off.
It's down there a ways.
Yeah, it's down there a foot now.
But the idea is, it's an extension of the anvil right here in his workspace. So this is his 400-pound Baudry? 400-pound Baudry?
Yep.
400-pound Baudry power hammer. He drives it like it's a Fiat, right? But it's a little scary because he's 90 now. It wasn't much safer when he was 80, but you got to get your foot way up here. So I come over and talk about this piece of bar stock that's leaning out there?
I fastened this to the wall because I have to lean against it because when I got 1 foot off the ground and I've got on the treadle now, I don't have a very, very stable place to stand, but I can do that now with that little...
That's just for those of you who think Cy doesn't pay attention to personal protective equipment. We're talking safe as in your mother's arms when he's leaning up against that.
Yeah.
So that baudry that you just got to look at is just for heavy forging. I mean heavy forging. This is a forging press. Coal Iron Works, we moved this in here. Steve Vincent and Rudy helped us years ago. Have you fallen in love with this, Cy? What do you do with this thing?
It's only marginally useful. I haven't learned how to forge with it because I'm so used to the hammer, and it's so weak compared to it, and the dies are so small, and for forging it's not useful. For splitting like this
Feather pattern,
it's absolutely phenomenal. For pressing that little
Oh, your touch mark.
in.
And that's what's in there now?
Yeah, that's in there now. It's great when I remember to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget.
Yeah. For some details, smaller, more controlled work.
Yeah, but for other things like we use it for bending stuff, and it has a huge amount of help. It's a huge amount of help.
So the heavy forging area is over there. This is kind of a lighter forging area. And in spite of the fact that I'm standing within eyeshot of 5 different forges right now, this is the most recent, this little Vivor. And you like this little $185 unit, right? Why do you love that so much?
It's quick.
Hot right now.
Yeah, hot right now. I can use 1 burner. I can use 2 burners.
Oh, yeah.
I can use 3 burners. And if I want to heat something up, I turn that front one on and it's right there. I've got my little anvil there. I've got this press here from splitting something.
So finer, smaller forging, bam, right now.
Finer, smaller forging, but a little different application. The splitting or the punching is right here.
There it goes.
It's right there.
Yeah.
And this is important when you're smithing, especially when you don't want to step around and walk with hot iron. And I don't anymore. I'm shaky, but I can pick something up here and make a turn, and I'm working.
He was big on that. So he's been mentoring me in the blacksmith world for 20 years. And when I first got those tools, I don't know how to set the shop up. Well, the first thing is you want your forge close to your anvil. Okay, so this is a platen table. I have a platen table, an acorn table. And they're really useful when you can get to them. This is not a storage platform, so I like
anything that's flat gets
it's a table.
Covered.
Yeah, that's right. But sometimes it's just handy, right? I mean, sometimes it's a 5,000-pound anvil sitting right here with a bunch of hardy holes in it. So there's an example. I mean, it receives bending blocks and all manner of tools can go into that thing. And then over on the corner, he's got this vise mounted. And is this a Cy Swan original right here?
No, that's a Steve Vincent. Cy Swan made one out of bearings, and it ran so good that it won't stay anyplace.
Oh, so he uses this as a way to hold his knives when he's getting ready to solder on the guards, right? Have I got that right?
Yes.
Because you need to be able to go back and forth, and it works.
Yeah, don't turn it the wrong way or the damn thing will fall off when the solder's hot.
When the solder's hot. Now, when you solder these, do you tin anything, or do you just lay the pieces in there and bring it up?
I put a heat stop on it, which is really important.
Because you've already heat treated the blade.
Right, and I don't want it to run, so I've got just a bare little minimum strip there that's bare. I wash it good, I flux it, and then I put the guard on, and I'll drop 3 pieces of solder on there so I don't have to touch it, because if I push it on with the guard with just a stick, I move it.
You move it around.
And I don't want to move it. So when I get the 3 pieces to solder, then it's solid enough, I turn it over, but if you turn it the wrong way, it slips right off.
Goes to the floor.
So you turn it the right way and it turns over, and then a lot of times it's half soldered or even completely soldered on the back side, because that solder will run
Clear around the knife sometimes. Huh.
But
capillary action.
But then you finish up, and this one I have to redo because I missed a tiny little spot on it.
Yeah. His attention to detail has been growing over the last 10 years. How many, you've sold maybe 900 knives in the last 10 years since this channel started, haven't you?
I think so.
Man.
It's been a lot.
A lot, and all over the world.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that because one of the things he likes best about selling knives all over the world is the phone conversations. You buy a knife, you can call this man up and talk to him. And as somebody who's talked to him lots, I can tell you that's worth something. Now, this is your most recent mosaic Damascus blade.
It's part of the reason I'm so far behind.
You've been 2 weeks on this knife.
Well, yeah, not all at one time, but over.
Would you call that a snowflake pattern?
I don't know that it's a snowflake, but it's kind of like a snowflake that's had a stick of dynamite shoved up its butt and then exploded. And it's still on fire.
And still on fire. Now he's going to do this again, so you're going to see some flaws in the joinery between the guard and the knife, and he's going to take that off. But this is Makumogame? Gani. That's a silver and copper combination, much like Damascus pattern welded steel, but it is fused copper and silver. The next one's going to be thicker, yes?
Yes.
A little thicker, a little different fitting method around the blade, but this is an ironwood handle. How's that for a sweet Bowie knife pattern? So I've watched this guy make some transitions in his craft, right? Emphasize knife making. It's always been important to you, but you've really gotten into the details. And that started about the time the heat treating oven started showing up, yes?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What was the effect of getting a heat treating oven?
More consistency. Trying to get better blades, understanding a little bit more about the process that actually goes on in the steel.
Inside the steel.
While it's being heated, and how the grain growth is affected, and why you do certain things to it, and why you try to keep the duration that it's at a certain temperature to a minimum.
Let me talk to these people about this. Here's a translation. Heat treating is manipulating the characteristics of the steel itself, not the shape. You did that at the forge and at the grinder, but the way that it is functioning at the molecular level. And so first, after the forging, you normalize it. Anneal it.
Annealing and normalizing are somewhat the same.
Close.
If it's not the same, but normalizing is just taking it and relieving the stress by taking it up to a critical temperature and then letting it cool down in the air. That'll normalize it.
Okay, definitions. Critical temperature, you may not have known this, but when a piece of steel gets past about 1420 or 1450 degrees Fahrenheit, it's no longer magnetic. Because there's so much action in there at the molecular level, shaking around and vibrating, it's fallen out of the characteristics of an ordinary steel piece. And so then when it's quenched, it becomes hard. We won't go into the woods on that. But the normalizing helps all of the tensions that have been built in through the thermocycling, hot, cold, hot, cold,
Well,
hot, cold.
Not just that, it's the forging and the twisting and the banging and the
Yes.
twisting of all this metal. It puts tremendous stress on it.
Inside.
Yes, and that helps even that out.
Normalize it. So when you start to heat treat, you're starting from a level playing field.
Yep.
Okay, so now it's normalized. Now you're going to harden it. Hardening is done how?
Well, you take it, now the critical temperature on this steel is around 1450 or maybe a little more. Each alloy has a critical temperature that it is best reached to maximize its hardness and its toughness when you make a knife blade.
Pause. The alloy is the thing that is different between different types of steel because of the additives, the proportions of different elements that are included in the steel at the foundry, right?
Right.
It comes to you as different alloys, and to understand that, you need to understand how to harden it, you need to know something about the alloy.
Except when we do a blade like we do now, we're taking 1095, we're taking 15N20, we're taking 1084, and we jam them all up in a pile and we squish them together. And
The pattern Damascus.
wind them all up, and they don't know what the hell they are.
They're just medium or high carbon steel.
Right.
All right, so you harden it. You bring it up to a critical temperature, and then you
Quench.
Cool it in.
Part 50 oil.
It's a type of, it's right here. Oil chills the steel at the right rate so that it will become hard, and it doesn't chill it so violently that it cracks the way it can in water.
However, warm oil chills the steel faster than cold oil does.
How's that for crazy talk? All right, so now...
Now, you might need to explain that a little bit. It's the viscosity of the oil that adheres to the blade, and when the oil's a little warmer, it adheres tighter to the blade when you quench it than it does when it's clear cold.
And the turbulence in the oil brings cool oil into contact with the blade.
But it
sticks.
It needs to be about 140 degrees, and it cools it faster. And I've proven it to myself. I thought it was bullshit to start with, but it is not. It works. And you can tell if you're doing a series of knives, like if I've got 4 or 5 in there and the oil's too cold, I can tell that the last one will be harder than the first one.
In the series, each knife contributes more heat to the oil, so the oil's getting warmer and the knives are getting harder as a result.
But when it gets up about 150, then you better stop.
Okay.
Because it's 60 better quit. And I've got a little heat gun there that is relatively accurate, and
how hot
it
am I?
tells me, oh, you're about 85 there.
85 degrees on the palm of my hand.
Yeah. It's fairly accurate. It's not super accurate.
All right, so now that you pull the blades out and they're hard and they're brittle like glass, and now tempering. Tempering, he explained to me years ago, and it took me a while to wrap my head around it, is making the steel softer until you find the compromise between hardness and springiness that you need. Talk to us about your tempering temperatures.
Well, I use almost everything now at 385 degrees. I used to heat the 52-100 up to 400, but I found that I can get by with 100 or 385 and do it twice.
Oh, temper twice.
Yeah, let it cool off, temper it again.
Did you follow that? He puts it in the tempering oven at 385 for the prescribed period of time. Hour, take it out, let it cool.
Well, yeah, sometimes the oven just cools down, and I do it in the morning and I do it again.
Temper it twice.
Right, but if I do, especially steels like 52-100, which is a file steel, knife steel, a razor steel, it's very hard.
Okay.
And if you don't do it right, it's going to break.
And what hardness are you shooting for with your Rockwell hardness gauge? What are you shooting for in your knives?
Well, most knives in the store are 58 around.
Points Rockwell, 58 points Rockwell.
Right, I like mine at 60.
Just a little harder. Hold that edge better.
60 plus.
And you got to be a real bonehead to break the knife, right?
You have to work at it to break one of my knives, and if you look at them, the entry, the point is fine. It's not a blunt thing. It's something you could pick out a splinter with.
Yeah, it's the real point.
Yeah, and I don't have many break.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You've sold now, let's say 1,000 knives. Let's just say, out of the 1,000, how many people have called you up and said, hey, the knife broke, what are you going to do? 1. You hear that?
Now, I'm sure that there's been a broken knife or two that they've not bothered.
Sure.
But I've only had one send it back, and his boy dropped it on the concrete, and it broke about 1/8 of an inch off the tip.
That's not bad, my friends. That is not bad at all. So you may not know, if you haven't been in this shop before, that what Cy Swan really has been a rancher, a cowboy. It's been the last 30 years that you morphed over more into the blacksmith shop with cows on the side.
And there was a lot of cat skinning.
A lot of cat skinning and dragster building and machine shop. We'll show you that. And skydiving and bagpipes playing and you name it. This old boy has done it. But so welding and fabricating is part of being a rancher and almost anything else. So as a kid, how old were you when your dad showed you how to gas weld? Because he was generating his own acetylene in his shop, right?
Yep.
How old were you when he showed you how to run a gas torch?
I don't know.
7. Make up a number.
Probably someplace in there.
Yeah.
Because it's been like the anvil. It's been ever.
Forever, all your memories.
Yeah, I never had when it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah. So he's been welding for 83 years or 84 years or something. But I think you went from stick to MIG when I was around, starting 20 or 22 years ago. Yeah. And this is the second or third MIG machine you've had?
Second.
You happy with this?
Not quite.
Not quite. Fussy? Too fussy?
The feed's not super steady on it.
Okay.
It gives us trouble.
Little hiccup now and then?
Yeah, it's just not strong enough.
And I remember when I was building up the point on that mouse hole anvil, it was just a walking headache.
If you don't have this cord out just right, if it's got just a little kink in it or anything, and I put new cores in it 2 or 3 times, and it doesn't seem to stay, it doesn't seem to help. I should just throw the damn feed rolls away and get some more. Yeah. And hopefully, Kerry was supposed to do that.
Kerry was a top hand at a local welding supply store.
When he sold me the damn thing, he never did get out because it was from day one. It didn't work right.
Yeah, yeah. So TIG, plasma cutter. Plasma cutter is a vital thing in a knife shop or a welding shop now.
It's a very handy thing.
Yeah, maybe not vital. Yeah, not vital, but sure is handy.
Not vital.
Yeah. So this is the second one you had because your dog George, was it George, who kept chewing the leads off?
This is probably
the blue healer.
Fourth one.
Fourth one you've had. For some reason, his sheepdogs like to chew off the leads.
Well, they chewed off the leads on the welders, too.
Yeah.
They chewed through this damn cord, that one dog.
So we've really only scratched the surface in here. I mean, there's a retort that we've used for casting bronze, brass. He casts jewelry. He's cast wedding rings for his grandson and his intended, and anyhow, all kinds of stuff in here. But we're going to walk out of here into where he does his grinding for his knives, which is in the same space as the machine shop, the machine tools, where he builds his cannons, if you can believe that. So we're over here in sort of a general purpose power tool area. This is where he grinds his knives. Now, before I turn him loose on this topic, and I will, he just told me that probably between 50 and 70% of the time on a knife is spent at one of these grinders. I want to let you know that as a 90-year-old man, your vision is one of your biggest problems, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got double or triple vision, depending. So visualize this. You're grinding beautiful knives, and the lines and the bevels and everything have to be just so, but you have 3 images. So show the people how you keep track of where your knife actually is on these belts.
But I don't have one right here that's partially ground, but I use my index fingers and I run my fingernails right along on the belts real easy, and that way I can keep track of where I am, and then when I go to my plunge lines I have to pick which side I'm at and then kind of close one eye and find out which view is the proper one.
You know, that's a challenge for all of us to determine.
And the lights help. The better lights you have, it's not out here right now. I've got a double light that I can stick around my neck, and it shines right there. It's better than the headlamps by far, and it shines right there. And if you can get real good light on it, then it helps the image a whole lot.
Okay, so light is a big deal.
Light is huge.
So in this grinding, you've got 1, 2, 3 2x72s here. Okay.
Yeah, and I may get another. Well, I've got a 2x48 out there, and I may get another little one.
Yeah, it helps to have a lot of grinders, right? It's like angle grinders. You need a bunch. You almost need a bunch of these.
I think I've got 9 angle grinders.
So talk to us about K&G Supply, Tanner, down there in Arizona. They're a good outfit, aren't they?
Yes.
That's where he gets most, not all, but most of your grinding supplies, your belts?
I've been getting most of my heavy belts from Combat.
Okay.
Tanner told me that he can't compete with those heavy ones, and they're just about half what he can sell them for.
Right.
But he's turned me on to some blue belts, or they're actually purple, I think. I'm not able to tell.
Right.
That are in the lighter grades. And I haven't asked him if they make those in the heavier grades.
You ought to ask him.
Yeah, I'm going to, because I really like them. They last long. They're good belts. They seem to even cut a little better than a new 3M, but they're a 3M product.
But a different type of a crystal.
Yeah, and yet they last better than the...
But let's talk about K&G and Tanner.
Okay. 3 generations, I think, down there, at least 2 that I'm sure of.
Yeah.
He is an adopted but well taken care of, and has hyphenated his name to his adopted parent. He's a first class young man,
Yeah.
33 years old, a gifted knife maker. He
In his own right.
It made beautiful, beautiful pieces of mosaics that I can't even start to understand yet, and I'm going to query him as to whether he makes them up or if he's getting some pattern someplace, because I don't understand how he does it.
But as an information source, somebody you can ask questions
Yes.
of, and has the supplies and gets them in the mail, and
Yes,
bam.
and they're usually mailed the same day or the next day, depending on what time you call.
Yeah.
And they're there within 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And I do use Gent Supply some, and I've got another outfit or 2 that I can call, because for some reason, like, he can't get red micarta, but the other people can. I don't understand that, but sometimes I need red micarta, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with the internet and what we have now, it's easy to...
Good stuff.
Right.
So this is the workhorse grinder that was here when I showed up 20 years ago, and my eyes bugged out when I saw it. How long ago did you get this thing?
It's been here at least 30 years, maybe more.
So you've made your own... Which of these shivs have you made half a dozen times?
Well, I made this bottom one over and over and over, and it would last for 6 or 8 months, and then it would hollow itself out, and it would get wobbly, and it would go wonky. So I decided, well, why does it have to be that little? It doesn't, and it could have a bigger axle and bigger bearings.
Sure.
So now it has a 1/2-inch axle clear through, and the bearings are larger, and it hasn't given me any trouble.
So the last thing we're going to walk you through here in this shop tour that is sort of focusing on his knife making capacity is the carpenter shop, the wood shop. And some of you would feel right at home, and some of you would have an OCD fit walking in here. But man, his cool stuff comes out of here, one knife after the other, hundreds of them. And if you're interested in the other things that go on around here and that have gone on, watching him run a cat, watching him taking care of your cattle and feeding your cattle. He built up a Beefmaster. He built a fine Beefmaster herd that his son has now. Lots of stuff on here about Cy Swan. You go to his website, greenvalleyforge.com, I think, if you're interested in his knives. Call him up, talk to him. But here's where he makes the handles. And what do you got? You got some ironwood handle blanks over there? Is that what that is?
Yeah, these are culls that I've gone through that don't quite make it. There's still a few in there. All this wood was in that box, but I've sorted through here, and I've got out pretty much everything that's ironwood and usable. There's still a couple, but I have a pile of ironwood rounds out there that I have to cut up on the bandsaw to sawmill them.
And that ironwood is well named, right? It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
That carbide blade in there is the only thing that really wants to cut them. And they're about $190, and they tear up every once in a while.
So, 90 years old this summer. You're probably going to be making knives for 10 more years, don't you think?
You know, you told me that when I was 80, and I didn't think I'd get to be 90, so...
You got 5 years left, man. You're not quitting yet.
Well, I don't want to quit, but man, I'm getting weak.
Yeah, he's getting weak. And it kills him. He was an incredibly strong man. He was this much taller, and I know people who knew him then, and he was intimidating is too soft a word. We're going to talk in another video about the transition that he has undergone from being entirely a rugged individualist, to being a rugged individualist who understands the value of being a mentor and having mentors and engaging with people. Now you've got 3 great-grandkids? 4 great-grandkids. There's plenty more to talk about with this guy, as you might expect. Check out some of the other videos, and we'll bring you back to Green Valley Forge one of these days. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.